Oh dear.
Right, so we'll crack on. Welcome. Thanks for everyone for joining. We kind of started as like a little area meeting. Those of you that are outside our meeting or outside our area, we meet once in the sort of spring term around January, February, just to discuss things. And then we have a large CPD day. Generally, it's been hosted down at Brighton. I've been arranging. And then from next year on, Mark Lloyd, give everybody a wave, Mark. If you've got the gallery view, he's going to be arranging that CPD day. So I thought we'd just reach out to everybody. One, from my point of view, to share what we're doing, see what other great ideas that you guys are all doing, and then, yeah, kind of plan for quite a strange little circumstance that we're in. As I said, it started off a sort of an area meeting. I reached out to Scott Brand, who used to work here, who's now in charge of ISA Sport, and he put it out nationally, and Fran Hyde with IAPS, she did the same. So there are a few people from different regions. Hopefully it'll be useful for you. Obviously it's a national and global issue, but how can we as sports departments help one another? If you are not familiar with Zoom, there is a mute button. So if you don't want to be, so everybody can hear you, please mute your own one. Don't feel that you need to have your video on if you're shy or anything like that. Also, there should be a little button somewhere that looks like a little emoji, a reaction. If you want to press that, then you've got two options, either a hand clap or a thumb up. If you put a thumb up and you want to say something, it will stop me babbling on or just, you know, shout over the top of me. I do want it to be kind of interactive. It's not just me talking for 40 minutes or so, telling you all the things that we're doing here. You know, do jump in with your own examples and your own viewpoints on things. I have arranged another meeting sort of within 40 minutes because I haven't got the upgraded Zoom account. So this might kick us off after 40 minutes. That does give some of us a good chance just to disappear, go off back to our own online meetings and other stuff, quick refreshment break, and then we'll start the next one if anyone just wants to jump back on. Maybe we haven't covered all your questions or points or things like that. The link for that second meeting is in the chat box. So again, if you're not familiar with Zoom, somewhere on your screen, whether it's your desktop or mobile version, there's a little chat. Click in there and then you'll see I've already uploaded it there. Where did we start? So we had three kind of sections. The first one being what we're currently doing. Second bit was going to be, you know, what happens when we return, if we return in the summer term, and then lastly, the furloughed staff. I'm actually going to jump straight to that last point, furloughed staff. And again, I'll just share my experiences. Everybody else share their own. For us as a department, there's been a lot of people furloughed. We're not a massive department, but mainly our part-time teachers, head of swimming, our head of PE has also been furloughed. So actively still in school, myself as the director of sport, looking after most of the admin normally and teaching games. And then we've got Caroline Park, who most people know locally. Caroline, her role within school here has changed over the last little while. She's kind of 50% on the sport and PE, 50% in LED. So she's also still in school. Speaking of the devil, she's phoning. So that's just it. It's just me and her, really. We're the only two that are, you know, actively teaching PE in games currently. Questions I'll have for, you know, my headmaster is what's going to happen when we start coming back. Is it just going to be short term, me and Caroline? Are those guys who have been furloughed coming back? I don't really know. How's it affected everybody else?
We've got I say we're a small school as well, so I'm the deputy head and director of sport, so I'm still in. Jackie Weller, who does girls' games, is class teaching primarily on teams with her form, so she's out of the equation really. And we have Sean Ames, who was a gapper. He's a graduate gapper now, so he helps out with games lessons. But we're very much at bare minimum as well. Our coaching staff that come in for specific sports have all been furloughed, so and we're not sure, as you said, when they'll come back in.
Craig, sorry, I apologise. I have to leave at 4:15 because of another meeting. But yeah, we furloughed all of our. Sorry, I'm Joe Porter from Summerfield Schools.
Hi, Joe.
We furloughed all of our support staff, so tennis, golf, etc., and that's for the whole term. So we're not expecting to do any paid extra on the side. We're doing. There's a small group of us who have been running games for the whole school. We do games every day, film a different game session. We've done nothing live, but we film a game session every day for the boys for a variety of things. All of our gappers had the option to go home, but they didn't. They've decided to stay. So they've been invaluable in terms of, demonstrating. We classify them as living as a family together, so they can interact and do some stuff closer than the 2 meters, which we found, quite challenging at times when we haven't had them. And so, yeah, we've been doing games every day. A couple of other things we've done. We do 2 sports podcasts a week. So talking about sport, get the boys to ask questions about sport, things like that. Staff who are on, other members of staff who have got a sporting interest, like headmaster, big cricket interest, so got him on to do the first one. We had the London Marathon last week, so a couple of staff actually ran the marathon around the track.
I saw that on Twitter. That's quite good, eh?
Yeah, so then we got them in to discuss what it's like running 140 laps on the track, that sort of stuff. So those are the sort of things we've been doing. And then, I have to say, I think we're in the dark like you guys about what we're going to do, when we come back off the hub. So if we come back, either further down the line in September, I've been emailing people about fixtures, and who knows whether we're able to do those as well. I'm sort of planning as we will be able to, hopefully.
Yeah, I think we'll touch upon September briefly today, but then I kind of plan I know the government's going to be releasing a lot of information on Sunday and probably throughout this week. So it'll probably give us all a bit more information to make some plans and, actually think about what we're going to do in September. I know all of us down in Sussex, we've been emailing one another, booking out our block fixtures. I've been emailing Carl today about a tour, them coming down. And, I think we've all got a plan for plan A, which is as what it was. But then up our sleeves have a plan B, C, D, and the rest of the alphabet, really, with what comes of it. Just to continue from where Joe was there, giving you an idea of what we've done as our program, sort of pre-Easter. We only had like a week of it, and it was very much, we just dropped in some challenges to the kids, go away and do some little challenges and feedback. Now we've come back, it's obviously much more up and running. Similar to Joe, we've done a few little podcasts or are putting them in place. I think that's been a really good idea, and it only came to me a week or so ago. Also interviewing old pupils of the school, getting that kind of feedback from them. A lot of the year 8s who are leaving at the end of this year have sent in a lot of questions for me to propose to the old Cumnorians. We do a PE lesson and a games lesson every day. PE is more sort of physical movement based, where games is more sport specific. So first 2 weeks we did cricket. Now we've just moved into athletics. How we're setting them is we've made a YouTube channel, and I'll try and share that with you all now. And then with that, we just send out the link to the kids and hope that they do the lesson, really. Problems that I've found with what we're doing is we're kind of just dropping it and then running away. We're not doing live lessons. Is actually the feedback in terms of, are the kids doing it? I've no idea, apart from looking at how many people have views, and you'll see at the top here, no views, no views, no views, 1 view. I think one of the top scoring ones has got 24 views. So I'm not sure how successful that's really been, if I'm being honest. Partly is how we're getting that information to the kids. I don't think what the school have decided to do has been proactive enough yet. And behind the scenes, we're pushing for more. So hopefully they will access that more. We've done a virtual marathon where the kids have just sent us weekly updates of what mileage they've done, breaking down into like a 10K run, 5K run with mum. If those of you are aware or aren't aware, there's a thing called Strava, which you can get on your phone. You can make a Strava club. So we're going to be making a Strava come to house one, and then all the parents can sign into it. all the pupils, if they have their own devices, can also sign up to that. Chris Morgan over at Tunbridge, he set up a similar app that uses Strava called Strider, and they're trying to get like a schools league. So if that's something of interest for you, touch base with him. I can put you in contact with him. And basically they're going to have like a competition, see which school can travel the most mileage, little league for staff as well. And that's quite a nice...
Craig, can I just interrupt you there? I did put my hand up, but you didn't see it.
Pardon me?
I was on a PADSIS meeting last week about Strava, and there are some child protection issues. So you need to look into that in terms of location and so on and so forth. So they were going to be looking into it. It might be suitable for older children, but not necessarily younger children because of the child protection issues, just to raise that with you.
Yeah, no, thanks. I was on that, and I think Chris has sent through since like a privacy setting. So the biggest issue was on these online apps, obviously it tracks where you start and then where you finish. And generally people are running from their house. So you can change the privacy setting, like a radius, you can do within a kilometre setting. So it doesn't actually show you where you start and finish. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of child protection issues there. We've tried to do it so that they're with their parents, and you know, it's their parents that are leading it rather than the pupils. Really good point, Sharon. Thank you. Other things that we've been doing is we've just joined the Specsavers Sussex Games. Again, I'll try and share you this link. Where is it? This one here. For people in Sussex, Specsavers have sent out a weekly challenge. And you've got 4 challenges and you have to complete it and submit a score. I'd assume that they're doing that nationally, being a national brand. The uptake on that hasn't been great from our pupils, but you know, if you go on Twitter and check out this Sussex School Games, lots of schools in the area are doing it and kids are being motivated by that. So that seems quite an easy resource to throw out to people. And yeah, that's pretty much where we've got to. Some ideas. Sharon mentioned that PADIS seminar last week. I was on that, just listening in. And the social side of sport, I think we've kind of neglected here. So something we're going to put in place for next week. This week's slightly different because we've got VE Day celebration on Thursday and then the bank holiday. So we're going to do it next week as a social evening where we're going to just do a sports quiz. So 5 questions on all our major sports and just try and do it through that. We're using Microsoft Teams here. Not sure what others you're using, but that's the platform that our school have decided to use. They're very similar to all the others. But I feel that that's probably the one thing that we're lacking is that interaction with the kids and that they're probably missing out on. So having a bit of a social gathering online. Again, it's out there. They can pick it up or they can choose to ignore it. But that's something that I picked up from that meeting last week.
We're Craig, can I just say at Hurst we're using Microsoft Teams, but what Ben and I are doing, so they've upped our number of game sessions despite the fact they've furloughed most of our department, which is probably the same for you guys. They've decided the younger ones don't really need as many lessons, but they should be more active. So we're actually doing 15.5 hours worth of sessions a week, and they want it to be kind of us rather than like YouTube links and stuff. So similar to what you said, we've done YouTube videos, but what we've done is we do a live every Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday they do cricket, which is videos of either ourselves or the cricket coaches doing different things and that are adaptable whether they've got the equipment or not. And then on a Wednesday, I actually used to teach Zumba, which is a bit random, but I do a live Zumba session, or Ben does a live workout, or we do something live. And we've had like about 200 of the prep school on every Wednesday, which is good. And then they go to a more sport specific thing after that. So then we alternate on a Wednesday. So it's a bit more kind of realistic. So we do hockey one week, rugby and netball the next week, cricket, then athletics. And then Thursday, Friday, we do athletics or athletic development. But then during the sessions, if we're not live, we sit on Teams and we answer questions. They send us videos and stuff and we feedback on technique and stuff. And that's actually worked quite well. But we also have a registration process, so they have to register. which we just do on Microsoft Forms, and that's been really helpful because then we know who's not engaging and who is engaging. I know sometimes they might tick that they're there and not do it, but we've just been asking for photos and videos and stuff to give out house points and stuff, and that's been really positive feedback we've had, so it's quite
That's
useful.
through Microsoft Teams, you're saying? Like the
we do. Yeah, so on Teams you can create an announcement, so every day we put an announcement as to what they have to do, and we upload files, so it might be a PowerPoint with videos in it, that's videos of us or whatever, and the session is on there. And
the live is on YouTube though. We do the YouTube.
Yeah, live is on
the
YouTube.
school YouTube channel. You just go live on a Wednesday afternoon. And
does that link into Microsoft Teams then?
No, we just we put the link on our announcement, and they click on the link and go and watch us live. This week, parents are asking us to do it on Zoom as well, so I don't know if I can get 2 laptops set up side by side, and God knows, but you know, it's never enough, is it?
Your IT's gone through the roof, Ben.
Carnage. I'm a video editor, Joe Wicks wannabe. I don't even know anymore.
I know there's a lot of kickback with the Joe Wicks thing, you know, because it's not PE and he's not a PE teacher. But certainly our viewpoint here was he's a great resource to tap into, you know, and he's kind of got that box ticked. So we haven't tried to compete. Any of my little fitness challenges and things have been slightly more quirky or fun/game based than pure workout as he is doing it. I know he's making it fun though.
I'm sure most of you have already seen, but if you haven't already looked at it, the England Athletics thing is really good as well. There's loads of stuff on there. There's loads of videos, and there's an app called Athletics 365, and there's loads of stuff that you can download and set for the kids, which is quite useful. If any of you were due to come to our athletics events, which were meant to be in the next couple of weeks, boys and girls, I've compiled a virtual meet, so I'm going to send it to all of you guys. It's a PowerPoint presentation with instructions for each year group. It's got my email address on it, so it shouldn't hopefully create any extra work for you guys. And then if you guys can send it out to your kids if you want to, they can just email their scores and results to me, and then I'll still post out certificates and stuff for the winners. I know they kind of might lie, but
yeah, that's quality.
So if anyone else wasn't due to come, let me know and I'll send it to you as well.
So Craig, with my lessons, what I've been doing, we've had PE lessons for all the different year groups, and then we've had a more holistic approach, so it's been more well-being rather than games. So we've had somebody who has set challenges in terms of a well-being sort of way rather than trying to do the games. But for PE, I've started every session off with a live Zoom. So I've put the link into Teams. About 10 minutes before their lesson, they click onto it. We do a start, we do a warm up, and then I've got videos, and I've just put that into a channel or into files. They go into that, they do their video, and then that's the end of the session. And it's worked pretty well, actually. I've had maybe 2 children not in classes there every time, so it's been quite successful.
I did a quick poll through like a Google form document, sent it to year 6, 7 and 8. And, you know, can you access the PE lessons, yes or no? Probably 2/3 were no. And then, you know, have you done any physical activity that Mr. Burgess or Mrs. Park set you, yes or no? Again, like 2/3 no. So I think we've missed a trick with the live aspect of lessons. And just, we've got quite a comprehensive timetable, academic timetable that the school's putting a lot of weight into. So we've been fortunate. Wednesday afternoons now from 3 o'clock are going to be free, and that's when I'm going to be doing my live Joe Wicks style stuff.
The parents love it more than the kids.
They just miss you, Ben. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Yeah.
Another thing that's quite good, I know you mentioned Strava, there's also something that you can go onto, and you can you have to fill in a form and register for it, but you can get a Land's End to John O'Groats thing going, and you can give the link to all your kids, and it can be cycling, it can be running, it can be walking, and they can all fill in their details, and then you can see how many times you can do it as a school or as a year group or whatever. That's quite good. Our outdoor red department have done that, and quite a lot of our prep school kids are doing that as well, which is quite handy.
There's one that's just filtering out into our school now, and we're doing around the equator, similar kind of vein. And we're doing like as a house challenge. I think these kind of house challenges are where we're headed of the next little while. But yeah, there's lots of those style things about. Is that an app then, you say, Christina?
No, you can. It's something you have to fill in a form. Hold on, I'm just going to go onto my team and have a quick look and check what the exact name is. 1 second.
But certainly, like Sharon was saying about the Strava, there is a lot. You probably have to check with your own school policy before sending it out to the masses. But Chris Morgan at Tunbridge School, he's the man to hit up about information on that. And Strider, again, I can put you in contact with them. Most of you will be on Twitter or have access to his email directly.
Hi, Craig. I'm Pete here, head of sports at the Roach School in London. Just a very quick, because I'm going to have to shoot off to another meeting as well soon, but I'm doing pre-recorded videos each day in my garden, so my neighbours think I'm absolute mental. But I'm doing them from our nursery up to our year sixes as well, so just changing the videos. But one of the resources that I'm using alongside my videos is all the sort of like England Rugby, England Cricket Board, the Premier League. They're all setting out daily challenges every day as well. So great resource to use, and they're using their players. So it's a different player each day setting a challenge based around their sport. So if you just type in any of the, organisations, then they come up and they've got challenges as well. But one of the things that I'm doing with all the kids in the school is things like the Dizzy Challenge that was on the Big Night In a couple of weeks ago. So they're sending in their videos and we're making big montages of them and then putting them back on our Facebook page and our website. So that's encouraging the kids to look out for the sports challenges as well, because then they sort of think that their face will show up on the next montage that comes up.
And how are they sending you those videos?
They're just either sending them to my email address or putting them up in the cloud, which to our school cloud, and then I can access them all. Okay. But all my 7 staff have been furloughed, so it's just me doing everything at the moment. So it's a bit of a time constraint as well, but it's the only way at the moment that we're finding to do the lessons.
And the national governing bodies that are putting it out, you just say it's just on their normal websites, is that correct?
Yeah. So if you just go into the Premier League, I mean, I know Chelsea and Arsenal, not that I'm fans of those clubs, but if you just go onto their webpage, they've got daily challenges set. But yeah, and again, England Rugby, England Netball as well. I don't know if any of you are still doing rounders, but there's England Rounders has got challenges as well going.
I think Christina had said it earlier. We a lot of the feedback from our first section in Easter when we were sending out links, and it was like Wayne Rooney setting a challenge. A lot of the parents, the feedback was that they wanted to see us. We've been a lot of the YouTube stuff is replicating what those guys are, but for ideas for us personally here, that's a good little shout, so thank you.
Yeah, it was the same at my school as well, so that's why I've always made it very clear that it's alongside what I put out as extra.
Yeah, and also I guess I'm assuming most of your schools are the same as us, the sport is kind of, pick and choose. It's not compulsory here. It's very much seen as extra and, for their overall health and well-being rather than, timetable games lesson, you're now in your team's lesson. So how many of them are actually doing it is a totally different thing.
Yeah, we have timetabled half an hour every day for each class to have PE. One, because I didn't want them sitting in front of a screen all day long, and I basically said even if they don't follow what I've set out, I want them still out doing some sort of physical activity.
Yeah, for sure. We also said that when we were having the kids filming themselves, is that we're kind of then asking them to be outside with their device again. So we've got a bit more relaxed with them filming themselves, but certainly there's that lovely battle online, who's got the most active Twitter account and most clips of their own kids on there, that that we try to get a lot of feedback through Twitter. Anybody else got any current things that they want to share that's different to what has been on offered? I'll give you all a few secs.
I've just put there's a link in the chat just to that Land's End to John O'Groats. You have to sign up as a school or as an individual, but there's a link in there if you want it.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I see that. Virtualmission.com. I think recently the 2.6 charity challenge, I think a lot of people jumped on that bandwagon. And I think for us, it's all just, like Pete just said, grabbing all these little resources and different challenges and then throwing them out or rebranding them as your own school. So plans for the rest of the term, if and when we return. It's a little bit clouded here. What we've certainly done is we've cancelled all fixtures. So I know some schools have cancelled up till half term and then they're going to review it. We've just cancelled all our sport for the whole term. So if we come back, it'll just be internal sport only. Again, after this weekend, we'll have a bit of a better picture when the government's announced dealings. The seminar that Sharon was talking about, there was a lady from China, and she was saying they've obviously returned to school, but it's very, social distancing, so there's no contact between the pupils, and also then there's no equipment contact. So her PE lessons are, kids are in their own area, not touching anything. Other things that we're preparing for here is the fact that if we do come back, the social distancing aspect for some classrooms will be a nightmare. So they're likely to use our sports hall and divide that up into giant classrooms. So again, just having that in the back of my mind, I won't have a sports hall for the summer term if we return. And then just thinking about the modifications to any of the sport, if we are allowed to come back, what that will be. Protective equipment, will we need to wear it? Again, following some threads on Twitter, actually how much, what will that play into in terms of the kids seeing me in a big mask, doing my PE lesson with my blue gloves on? Will that be beneficial for their well-being, anxiety and all that? Probably not. Has anybody else had any discussions with SLT or anyone within their school about what's going to happen if we return this side of the summer?
None at all.
No.
Very little communication with the SLT at all.
Yeah, I think it's they're a bigger fish to fry than what my cricket lesson or what my athletics lesson is going to look like.
Craig, is it safe to say that all fixtures will be cancelled, and will something come from IAPS or Area 3 to say that? Yeah,
I believe IAPS will give you that clarification. Certainly ECB, I've said there's no cricket for a while, and that's rigid. Again, on that conference that Sharon mentioned, there was a chap from Surrey, and there's that grey area of you're on a private land, you're playing cricket, but the village next door to you or over the hedge, they're not allowed to play cricket, but we've decided we can play cricket. So I'd say the safest bet is to follow your NGB. So the ECB, they've said no cricket, so we probably shouldn't be playing cricket. There's the grey areas. If you're a boarding school and you've got boarders in school, they're classed as a family. Can they still play cricket? Can they still play sport because they're in their own little ecosystem as such, potentially? So yeah, there's lots of little random nooks and crannies to think about. We certainly haven't got any borders here, so if everyone returns, we'll be a day school for the foreseeable future, and that will cause more questions than answers, probably.
That's
Craig,
kind of the message we're getting as well.
Sorry, at Beads, there's a little bit of talk about maybe doing a little bit of cricket at the start of next term. September, the weather's always good. We've had no cricket at all, probably not going to get any. Is anybody else thinking of maybe doing a little bit of cricket in September? Just a thought.
Craig was
If we're allowed to play
talking about
rugby.
some evening games, weren't you? I mean, I wouldn't want to, from my perspective, I wouldn't want to lose any of the little football that we get in that first term, but I'd certainly be up for doing some evening games when we've got, like I say, good weather and some lighter evenings in that first part of the term.
Yeah, I certainly had emailed Darren, Sam, Mark and Ian. So as the crow flies, the 4 closest schools really, and said to them, shall we book in some evening fixtures so it doesn't affect our Wednesday block fixtures of football? So it's something I'd penciled in. There was a conference today. I haven't tuned into it, but there's a pre-recording from Paddis, and they were discussing that actually what cricket could happen in September. And I know he's lurking in the shadows there. Hayden Westerby, who used to work here, he was always a big fan of pushing some football back and actually introducing a lot of cricket in that September, because I don't know if you had hail last week, but last Wednesday here there was hail, rain, and that would have been a second cricket match. 4th, 5th of September, it's generally quite warm, and maybe we look at our sports program and shift things slightly. I know those of you that were at Beads back in January or February, I threw the idea out about moving netball from February because it's cold and wet. Maybe this is the chance that we look at our whole sports program. I don't know.
Yeah, it was only to run it alongside football rather than instead of. We weren't going to put back the football season, just try and, like you say, the odd evening just for the top teams, maybe even a Sunday. I don't know how, maybe not, but I don't know. Yeah. It's just a thought. If anybody's interested in any kind of cricket in September, just give us a shout.
Also depends if we got any ground staff left by then.
Yeah, true.
You have to multitask, Ben. So you're...
No, they've got our chefs out doing that.
YouTube blogger.
In the grass.
I saw our head chef mowing the lawn the other day. They've obviously kept some.
Oh, she disappeared. I spoke to my. That's the point. I mean, I spoke to my groundsman, and our facilities aren't being cut as far as I can gather. I haven't been in for a while, but we wouldn't get any cricket on anyway because we'll be knee deep in grass by the time we get back anyway.
Yeah, but I think you're right, Chris. Like I say, I popped an email out to some people. I'm certainly keen. Plan A is that we roll out the calendar as we've been organising, and then on top of that, we try and supplement it with some evening cricket fixtures. So I'll be keen to touch base with you on that one. And like we've kind of said a few times, it's all depending on what Boris says this weekend, really, and what information he throws out. Plan A is this, and then when the information comes out, how quickly and how thorough, strategic is Plan B, C, D, and E. So yeah. I've kind of covered all the points that I had jotted down on here. Anyone got any other wider agenda points that they want to throw out to the floor?
Hello, Kat.
I want to ask if anyone's got any ideas, because people are talking about, if we don't go back next half term, doing remote sports days, which I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what would you do? So if anybody's got any ideas or anything with that, just, if we don't go back, that would be really great to receive.
Sharon, I send you the kind of mini version that I've done for that athletics thing.
Okay.
Got it. Obviously there's certain things you can't do in terms of competition because you can't do javelin or whatever. But I've put like a throwing one in there that's an accuracy one more than like an actual distance one, so that kids can do it anyway. And then I've done like a standing jump as well as a run-up jump, and they don't have to do all of them. They can just do what they want. And the way that I've done the running ones is I've done it in steps rather than distances, because most of them have a Fitbit or something along those lines.
Okay.
Just a bit of, because most of them within their family have something like that, rather than them trying to measure out what is 100 meters or whatever. So
okay, thank you, that'd be great.
No worries.
Hi, Kat. You were going to jump in.
Hello, I'm out of area from Midlands, so nice to meet you all. I've already had 5 emails about if we don't go back, how are we going to get our colours? Because we're prepped, so we just go to year 6. Has anybody had anything about what are you doing about colours and half colours for fixtures that never happen? So like, or our golf, our cricket, athletics that might not happen. Are you just going to give them if they might have got it? Anyone done anything?
Just go on previous performance, I suppose. I don't know. From what you know of them from the last couple of years, I don't know. I haven't thought about it really. But
yeah, that's a really tough one. I had a message from somebody saying how, I mean, it was all tongue-in-cheek, and he was saying how this child has performed amazingly in the back garden. He needs to have his cricket colours, and their pet dog should have half colours for his catching ability. So, yeah, it's tough if they're serious.
Are you honouring that?
No, we haven't. I haven't discussed it with Caroline or any of the other staff. Haven't discussed it with SLT, but you know, I'd just straight bat it. You know, you can't hand out an award when we haven't played any of the sport. You know, it's just a difficult circumstance. Whether you still recognise their potential, maybe you call it something different, but we've been trying to sort of change the viewpoint on colours and make them a little bit more difficult to obtain. I think we were handing them out willy-nilly a little bit, so we're trying to reduce them.
We're doing similar sort of thing as to that, Craig. We've reduced the number we give out. We give colours and half colours in year 6 and in year 8 when they finish the prep school. And if they get them in year 8, it tends to be that they've played a team for the whole time they've been at Hurst. Obviously, they don't always start until year 7, but it's a bit more, we don't just give it all to the A team as such. It's their contribution across their time at the school.
Yeah, we changed the labels or names of them. What good that did, I don't really know, but we call them school colours and team colours. So school colours effectively being your full colours, you know, more performance-based ones, and then team colours for those people who are team players, you know, consistently good attitude, always on time, and they're the more half colours approach. And that's where we've just been guiding rewards. Yeah, good luck with that one, Kat. Well, guys, that's about 40 minutes. I'll say farewell. I will jump onto that next one if anybody wants to jump on and just shoot the breeze and ask random questions and stuff. We've kind of covered a few agenda points. Get in touch with me if you want to book in another meeting for next week after this government announcement, whether it's a formal chat or just an informal, just, geez, what do you think of Boris's statements? Then yeah, we can arrange that either just as a district or with Scott and Fran from IAPS and Scott from SA, making it more of a national one. But always welcome to share from those guys who are outside of the area. Don't be shy. Catch you all later.
Thank you, Craig. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, people.
Thanks, Craig.